Hi Shirley. Hi Laurie. Hi Becky. Hi Rhonda. Hi Rosalind. So we're here in Brooklyn. Oh, what's this? This sounds like fun. Maybe that was just his ringtone. Hi Leslie. Hi Anne. So this ferry actually departs. Like it's late. It was meant to depart a few minutes ago, but he was attending to personal needs, the ferryman. So we're starting a couple of minutes. We're leaving a couple of minutes late, but that means that that you get to see the whole trip on the tour rather than starting while we're actually boarded. So let's have a look. This is Brooklyn on the Hawkesbury River to the north of Sydney. And I'll tell you more about that as we go through the tour. What we've got coming in here looks like a jet skier coming in. Is that a jet skier? Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, it looks like it's a jet ski. Hi Katie, hi Maureen, and hi Bobby. So I need to pay my fare in a moment. But this is the little ferry that we're on. Tiny, tiny little thing. Let me just have a look out this side. So this is where we boarded. This is the little public wharf. And I'm going to take up a position here right at the door so that we can look at the river as we go. He's coming around and taking fares, so I'll get ready to pay him. I might just sit down on here while he comes around to take my fare. I'm not going, I'm happy. I like it this way. So it comes back at 1:30, mate, yeah? 1:15 out of there. Okay. Tapping away. Thank you. Need a receipt? No, it's all good. Thank you. All right, that's the business end out of the way. We paid for our ferry one way. And here's the marina that we're departing from, Hawkesbury River Marina. Lovely day. The sun's going to come out this afternoon, so I'm guessing that by the time we get to Dangar Island, it probably will be quite lovely when we get across the other side. That's Dangar Island over there. Pelicans, yes. Let me see. Just a small admin fee. There we go. There's the pelicans. They're a little bit different to the ones that you see in Florida. I've been to Fort Myers and they're a completely different colour. All right, so we're heading off. Hi, Eleanor. 38 seconds before official start time, so that's not too bad. I think we've done okay. Let me just turn the camera around quickly while he's backing out. So hi, everyone. I'm Lynn, if anyone hasn't met me before, and I normally do tours in the Blue Mountains, but I've been exploring other possibilities down in Sydney, and I just thought, what a great little trip to show you guys. So this is the Dangar Island ferry, which leaves from Brooklyn on the Hawkesbury River and heads out across the Hawkesbury River to Dangar Island. Dangar Island is a small community of around about 300 people, and Brooklyn has around about 700 people. We're about 50 kilometres to the north of Sydney. And just before we begin, I'd like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the Gorigai people, on whose lands we're meeting today. Pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. All right, so let's turn around and actually look at the Hawkesbury River. So we're on this little ferry, tiny, teeny, tiny little ferry. I don't know what the capacity is. This is what the ferry looks like without getting in people's faces, of course. Let's have a little look around. Just this tiny little ferry. That's it. That's all there is to it. Hi Eleanor, hi Michelle, and hi Karina. So this part of the Hawkesbury River has a lot of oyster leases, and I'm hoping we might actually get to see some. I'm not sure if they're around this far around the bend. I do know that there are oyster leases around that bend a little further. This is the main train line. It goes through between Sydney and the Central Coast and Newcastle. Crosses this causeway here. And around this area of the Hawkesbury River, there's a lot of communities that are only accessible by boat. Of course, Dangar Island being one of them, but there's also another ferry route that takes you to another community. We're just sort of out of sight, just beyond the island over there, and that's called Wobby Beach. So it's a 15-minute ferry ride. Let's have a look out the other side. It's a lot windier over here. I'm not sure if is that affecting the sound at all. So we can start to see some of the houses. It's no vehicles on this island apart from the rural bushfire brigade vehicle, and hopefully we'll get to see that as we walk around the island. The island itself is around about 30 hectares. It's not very big. And it has a mixture of permanent residences and holiday accommodation. The wharf itself is around the other side of the island, so we actually get to see quite a bit of it as we make our way to the ferry wharf. As you can see, it's very rugged over this side. And according to the map, there's a small beach just around that point there. So we're going to try and make our way, as we walk around the island, we're going to try and make our way around to that beach and have a look at that as well. These are all little boat houses down on the water. So I think it would be fairly essential if you lived here that you'd have to have a boat. You wouldn't rely on the ferry. I took the 11:40 ferry, which ran a few minutes late. So it's just gone 11:45 in the morning, obviously. And if I zoom in over there, we can still see some of the last of the jacarandas that are still hanging on around the Sydney area. Hi, Judy. So at this point in the Hawkesbury River, it's very much still salt water. Empties into the sea at Broken Bay with Barrenjoey Lighthouse on the south side and the Central Coast is on the north side. Now, this wouldn't be a bad spot to live, but You really do need to rely on the boat to get everything to you. Perhaps a great place to come for a holiday rather than live. See, on the island there's one cafe and one bowling club. And I don't think there's an awful lot else. Hi, Sandra. Oh yes, the sun's starting to come out, which is quite lovely. Let's have a look over the other side just quickly. Oh, look at that house. Sorry, just really had to zoom in and have a look at that interesting house over there. Hi, Laura. So is there anyone here who's on Hago for the very first time? So over there you might be able to just see the train. Going across that causeway. And this is the highway, the freeway, the motorway that goes north. This is your main route north. Hanging on. Don't want to lose my equipment, lose my equipment on over there. That would be disastrous. So that's the Hawkesbury River Bridge. Hi Chandra, how you going? Now I don't know if you can see them. I'm going to try and get a shot for you. I just saw a couple of the notorious Hawkesbury River jelly blubbers. Oops. But if you see something that's sort of an indiscernible shape and of an orange colour in the water, that's your jelly blubber. And they sting. I used to live at a small community further up the Hawkesbury River that had a fenced-off section that was the swimming pool. But of course, that didn't stop fish and other water creatures getting into the pool, and the jelly blubbers included. And they would sting. If you made contact with the jelly blubbers, they sting. Getting a little bit choppy out here. I'm going to go over the other side. Hi, Paul. Hi, Laura. Here we go. This is the quiet side of the boat. More jacaranda trees over there. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, this looks like, is that the main ferry? I reckon this is the main ferry wharf over here. It is pretty lovely, isn't it, Sandra? There's a little beach over there. Okay, let's come over this side again. Well, if that's not a cafe or a restaurant, it's a pretty lovely outlook, isn't it? Imagine does someone live there? Is that just their entertainment space? It's pretty cute. So here's the ferry wharf. I'm going to check out where the cafe is. I might come back to it and have a coffee while I'm waiting for the ferry to come back. I think it's 1:15. Well, it's Sydney weather with coastal conditions. So you're going to have the nice sea breezes. It was very hot yesterday, but I imagine that the wind's coming off the water would keep things nice and cool. I'm just going to stand back because the driver's going to want to have access to this doorway now. So yesterday I got up to about 29. Today it's only going to get to 23. So much more pleasant today. And also we've got the lovely breezes coming off the water. So it's lovely. Let's just wait for the ferry to stop. The driver to let us off. I'm excited too. Oh, he's not letting us off yet. He doesn't want us to jump, see? He does not want us to get off until he's ready to supervise us. Yeah, that's right. Another year. Kids in school, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, so coming back, you got 1:15, 2:30 and 3:30.
I'll do the 1:15, I think. Thank you very much. All right, so let's have a look at this little boat that we were just on. That's it there. There we go. I'm going to wait until he takes off so we can get a nice shot of the ferry pulling away. What a good job. What a great job this would be. Imagine spending your day just pottering around between Brooklyn and Dangar Island. Fabulous. Fabulous way to spend the day. I don't know, is he taking off yet? He hasn't taken the rope off yet. Hi, Camilla. You need to undo that rope if you're going to take off. Okay. Let's watch him take off. It's a cute little ferry. Yes, it runs every day, Sandra. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Joyce. Because it's the only way, unless you've got your own boat, it's the only public transport between Dangar Island and Brooklyn. The adult fare, single fare was $9.30. I have a seniors card, so it cost me $4.70. And it'll be the same when I return. I'll come back at 1:15. And here he goes. Alrighty. Let's go and take a walk around the island. So this is Dangar Island in the Hawkesbury River, which is also known as Dirubban, which is the indigenous name for the Hawkesbury River. This is the Dangar Island public wharf. And you can see we've got a lovely jacaranda tree and a lovely eucalyptus tree on either side of the wharf building. Looking back this way, That's all national park over there. I think that's fairly inaccessible. I think it's still wilderness on the other side of the river at that point. Is my mic rubbing on something? Are you getting a bit scratchy, are you, Becky? It's a bit windy. I do have the mic muffled, much like in the similar vein to a dead cat, but not exactly. Let's see if I can get into a more protected position. I think once we move away from the water's edge, we'll have a little bit less in terms of wind interference. But this is the sort of thing that you'll find inside the Dangar Island ferry wharf. I'm not sure what the saucepans are all about. This is like a little free library. Maybe you can share saucepans. I don't know. I don't know what they're there for. But that's kind of interesting. It was just the wind. I'm sure of it, Becky. If trees could talk, what's this about? Dear Dangar Island Earthlings, to continue providing you with shade, clean air, windbreaks, and bird, bat, possum, lizard, and insect habitat and food, we ask that you remember. So this is all about, I'm guessing it's about the trees. When you remove more than one of us, it causes wind corridors to open. Okay, so that's some really good advice about trees. And then this talks about the seagrass in the Hawkesbury River. I won't spend any time on that, but it's very important, the seagrasses, to the health of the river. Here's the cafe. I'm going to come back to this later on. Okay, Becky, let's see if we can avoid wind where possible then, in that case. Hi, Ava. Hi, Rhonda. And here we have the purple carpet again. Who was with me on my tour looking specifically at the jacarandas? Very cute little cafe. I'm definitely coming back here to wait for the next ferry at the end of the tour. But let's go and explore. Look at all the wheelbarrows. So these are for getting stuff off the ferry. This is for getting stuff that you can't carry off the ferry. And then you, I guess, I don't know if they're privately owned or if you can borrow them. Okay, Laura, Karina, you going to join me for coffee? Excellent. So bear in mind, we have a road here, but there's no cars. And you can see that my signal's just dipped down to 1 bar. So fingers crossed, everybody, that it holds for me. You were with me on the Jacaranda tour? Fantastic. So I'm going to go and take this path. We'll head over towards the bowling club. Hi. All right, how's the picture and sound looking? Because I can see that the signal has dipped. Always follow the food signs. Yeah, great advice, Becky. And we're going to check out the menu. Hi, Tariq and the Bears. Welcome. Look at this. Isn't this fun? So this, an island in the Hawkesbury River, around about 50 kilometres to the north of Sydney. So this is the bowling club. Still stalled. Oh, really? Okay, I will just keep moving then, and we will, I might have to walk around and do a video for you. So I'm actually looking at the bowling club here, because it's a pretty special place. We'll go left. We'll go left and head back down the hill. Very frustrating. I wonder how they manage locally living here. How are we doing? Have I still got anyone here? How's the image looking? Still stalled by that flower. Oh no, really? Well, at least you can hear me. At least we can communicate. Okay, wait. I've got 3 bars here. Tell me if that's. Tell me if you're back. You're back, Rhonda? You're not, Laura. Hi, Heather. How you going? We've just seen some jacaranda trees, but the signal here is pretty awful. This is good? Okay, so should we just stand here and look at the surfboard fence? There we go. There's a surfboard fence. We'll just stay here. We won't move. We won't chance the signal going down on us. How about that? All right. There's this little Christmas garden here as well. All right, we're going to chance. See, I've got 3 bars here. We're going to chance heading back down towards the jetty, the ferry wharf. Okay. All right. I'm going to go out on a limb here. And since we've got 3 bars here, oh, no, that's 2. Let me see what's going to happen if I go like this. Oh, that goes down to 2. What's this image looking like? Is it refreshing worked? That's 3 bars. Okay. Cross your fingers, everyone. We're going to just try for the bowling club. Okay. I feel like I'm stalking something. Oh, no, that's 1 bar. Okay. It's telling us to stay away from the bowling club. All right. Let me just zoom in for Heather because this is her favourite tree. There we go. There you go, Heather. And as I said, if we're going to not get lucky, actually it looked like it cut out completely for a second there. How do people live here if they've got no signal? How are we doing? Do I still have an audience? Obviously these people have got a love for surfing. Excellent. I've still got some of you with me. That's great to hear. Still here. So we're going to try and find those flowers again that where the screen first froze very carefully and see if we can't get you at least one postcard of that intriguing flower. Okay, which way did I come up? There's a path down there, but I think that's a private path. Yeah, that looks like it goes to somebody's house. All right, so we're back at the park that had all the jacarandas. I'm going to head down this way. Is this private or is this a pathway? So we have 2 bars here, so that's promising. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Mary. Hi, Flick. Stop here. Yes, 5 bars. Look at that. So this is where we're going to set up our picnic. I tell you what, this right where I'm standing is, the air is filled with the scent of jasmine and honeysuckle. We've got this jasmine in flower over here. It's just a really heavy fragrance, absolutely dominating the scent around here. Now, what happens if I go down here? Can I get to that cafe from here? Let's see. Oh, that looks steep. Oh no, there's stairs. All right, there's stairs. Okay, we'll go down here. This is where we are. That's the ferry wharf over there with the black poles and the white tops. So we're going to see if we can actually get around. I hope it's not all private property down here. So let's see how we go. There's steps here. So I've got to glance up and look at the signal, glance down and look at the steps. Hi, Christine. Still got 5 bars here. So it looks like it's really only on the waterfront that you're going to get a great signal, isn't it? Okay. But this is an interesting postcard for you. There we go. Look at that. Little boat sheds. This little private beach. You're up for a walk on the beach? Lovely. So I'll find a way down to there. Maybe. I'm going to see lots of little crabs on the beach over there. See if I can get down here. Hi, Ken. So it looks like everyone has their own boathouse. So I wonder what you do if you live up the hill. Do you share? Do you share the boathouse with someone who's lucky enough to live right on the waterfront? Cool, look at that. Kind of is, isn't it, Jen? Much better than a bowling green. So over in the distance over there, I'm down to 2 bars again. Hold your breath, everybody. Over in the distance, we have the Hawkesbury River Bridge. So you're crossing the Hawkesbury River between Sydney and the Central Coast. This is where it crosses the Hawkesbury River. I want to show you. Look at this. This is a nice postcard with the clouds. Look at that. Beautiful. Just gorgeous. All right, I'm going to walk this way. Look at this garden. I quite like this. So it looks to me like the tide's out at the moment, as a guess. Here we have lots of oysters. Lots of oysters on the rocks. So these would be... Oh, hello there. Hi. The welcoming committee.
Don't get muddy.
Don't get muddy. Don't get muddy.
You're a rat.
Okay. Yes, Dad. I won't get muddy. Yeah, good luck with that. Exactly, Bronwyn. So yes, we've got oysters here because the oyster leases are just around the bend over there. I'm actually at the end of this tour. Once I get the ferry back to Brooklyn, I'm going to go and have a little drive over there and check out the pearl and oyster place and see what that's all about. Let's see if we can't do a tour at the pearl and oyster place. Here's a jelly blubber. Not a very happy one. So it's one without the tentacles. The ones that used to sting me when I go for a swim, when we lived with my grandfather at a place called Spencer, had big, long tentacles. The things must have been about 8 inches across the body, I reckon, with tentacles, I don't know, maybe as long as that as well. Hi, Randy. Okay, I probably should have used those steps to go back up. Let's go over here. And hope, fingers crossed, that I can gain access through here. Let's walk along the end of one of these little piers, one of these little jetties. Oh, Bronwyn, I've been there once. Yes. Excellent lunch at the Mooney Mooney Club. Of course, it's all about seafood there, as it should be in this location. Just want to try and get some interesting angles for you while I'm walking along this little jetty. And look at all the oysters here. Yeah, my husband has a friend who lives in the Central Coast, and we were living at Homebush, so Mooney Mooney Club was kind of halfway for us. It was a great place for us to meet. So if you're brave enough, we've got the right kind of footwear, I guess you could try your luck and get some oysters off these rocks. I'm not leaving this spot. I've got 5 bars signal here. We're just going to spend the next half hour looking at the river. Okay, so I didn't get to find the the Rural Fire Service vehicle. I can tell you it's a golf cart. Anyway, all is not lost because this is still gorgeous, isn't it? That's a great shot. Look at that. I can hear cicadas. The sun's coming out. It's so peaceful, isn't it, Rhonda? It would be a lovely place to live. So gorgeous. So it looks like we've got both wind and tide happening over here at the moment. There's a fair bit of surface water activity happening, and I think it must be a combination of both wind and tide flow. All right, let's go and explore a little further on. We'll go as far as we can around the water's edge. And then we'll go in and have a look at the cafe and the cafe menu. It's all about being flexible. So is that just a picture of tranquility? I think if you were labelling this postcard, it would have to be tranquility. What do you think? What do you reckon? All right, let's keep walking. We'll try and get through. I'm hoping that this isn't private property and access is going to be denied me at some point, but we'll just try and see how far we can go. That's that's a very rustic looking jetty, isn't it? Okay, let's go this way. Looks like they're old railway tracks. So it must have been used for launching something. Okay. Doesn't look really like it's meant to be walked along, so I might have reached a dead end. Might have to go back up that path we came down. Yeah, no, look, it's all blocked. I can't get through there. Slipway, yes. Bronwyn, I think you're right. All right, so there's another one of those slipways. I'm going to have to go back up that path I came down. This is all private property coming down here. So we'll go back up that pathway and come down to the cafe from another route. Never mind. As I said, it's all about being flexible, isn't it? Just as long as I don't get arrested. I don't think they're like that over here. I'm sure they'll forgive me. But you might get a bit of huffing and puffing as I go back up. All right, so this is the one I came down. Pretty sure. Yep, here we go. Back up these stairs here. It's warming up. It's getting very warm. Adventuring. Always, Rhonda. Always adventuring. Let's have one last look down here before I head round the other way. Hi, Ronnie Lynn. Okay. Wouldn't even be a bad lifestyle for a tradie, I reckon. Okay, 3 bars. Oof. Keeping an eye on that signal. Going down to 2. Everyone hold your breath. 1 bar. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here and back towards where the signal is good. Oh yeah, noisy. Exactly. Seems like every tour I do has some kind of noisy aspect to it. Whether it's the garbage trucks or street cleaners, blower vacs, there's always something. Okay. How's the signal going? Do you still have me? Back down to the jetty. Hi, Lynn. So we followed the food sign. It didn't quite work out for us this time. Never mind. Hi, Lois. We get back down to the waterfront where we know that the signal was last good. And I can see it improving already. Hello.
Hi. I'm really into climbing right now, so I'm sure it won't take long. Yeah, you'll definitely.
So I can hear a noisy miner. Let's go in here and have a look at the menu. We're back at the ferry wharf. Here we go. I'll come in from around the other side. Hi, Kamuji. Okay, so he's back at the ferry wharf. Back to 5 bar signal. Look at that. All is good with the world. Let me just show you the map of the island. Just noticed on this pole over here. Oh. Of course, you can look at the map in the Hago app as well, but we are where that orange dot is. That's it there. And we tried, where did we go? It is marked as a public path. That yellow path there, I'm fairly sure, means it's a public path. Yeah, it says beach access. So that's the one we came down. There's the bowling green up there. So that's as far as we got on our little island trek. I was going to actually do all of this, but a little bit ambitious, obviously, in terms of the signal. Never mind. Let's go and see what's on the menu. How about this table right here with the red hibiscus flower? Well, actually, they all have that. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Rhonda. Okay, so what's on the menu? Oh, this is reserved. Hold on. This one's reserved. So let's go find another table. That one's reserved as well. Gosh, it's a popular place, isn't it? Well, let's look at the menu. What do we have? Granola, waffles, avocado on toast, basically. Breakfast board, BLT, banana bread. What's on the other page? All burgers and toasted sandwiches. There might be something there for lunch. Peri peri chicken, double cheese. Pulled pork sounds good. Reuben sandwich is one of my favourites. I normally always end up having a Reuben sandwich. Alrighty. Hot smoked salmon sounds great as well. And we've got a beef pie or pumpkin and pesto quiche. That sounds like a reasonable menu. I'm going to come back here and have at least a coffee and maybe a sandwich a little later. So doesn't look like we can get any further around here either. End of public access, that sign says over there. Thank you, Lynn. Tell you what, guys, I did allocate an hour for this, but I'm thinking that we've probably seen as much as we're going to see today. I'll go and have a little look inside the cafe. But we've been on the ferry. We went as far as the signal would allow us. And I don't think there's much point me just killing time. This looks like it's the post box as well. Okay, avo on toast and a skim milk cappuccino for you, Bronwyn. Here we go. We've got one of the old Telstra phone boxes here. Oh, let's look at the goodies. Looks like it's a small supermarket here as well. So we've got spice mixes, crackers, various sauces. These are the offerings here. I guess you probably do your main shopping. Gosh, I don't even know where you would do it around here. You wouldn't do it at Brooklyn. But you can get your staples, your bread and milk, of course. And then around here we have, what do we have? These look interesting. Old bones. Okay,